The Russia-Ukraine conflict has changed the global market in many ways. It has affected energy prices and accelerated the fall of the US dollar. Now, not only has the US dollar weakened, but it's also affected other dollar-dependent currencies, like Petrodollar. But what are Petrodollars? To find out, stay with us until the end of this program. This is Petrodollars in a nutshell. Petrodollars are crude oil export revenues denominated in US dollars. The term gained currency in the mid-1970s. The Bretton Woods system of fixed currency exchange rates tied to gold through the US dollar collapsed in 1971 because the global economy and its demand for safe assets outgrew the available supply of bullion. Only the dollar could realistically fill that void. And as the global supply of dollars grew amid US trade and budget deficits, so did the accumulation of petrodollars earned by oil exporters benefiting from sharply higher crude oil prices. The US dollar's global popularity does not depend on the goodwill of oil exporters. It is based on the US status as the world's largest economy and goods importer with deep liquid capital markets backed by the rule of law as well as military power. Petrodollars are not a distinct currency. They are simply US dollars accepted as payment by an oil exporter. So here's the question. If the US did lose petrodollar dominance, would it crater the world's economy? Not really. Analysts believe that any market, a stock market, a wheat market, or the oil market, requires a unit of measure. The importance of the US economy made the dollar the obvious choice for most markets. But there would be no real difference if the euro, the yen, or even bushels of wheat were selected as the unit of account for the oil market. It's simply an accounting issue. Suppose that prices in the oil market were quoted in yen or bushels of wheat. If oil were priced in wheat, then the price of a barrel of oil would be 20 bushels. If oil were priced in either yen or wheat, it would have no direct consequence for the dollar. If the dollar were still the preferred asset among oil sellers, then they would ask for the dollar equivalents of the yen or wheat price of oil. The calculation would take only a billionth of a second on modern computers, and business would proceed exactly as it does today. Recently, we learned that Saudi Arabia has expedited its conversations with China to price some of its oil sales in yuan. Word is the Saudis are unhappy with recent US policy decisions that take some of the wind out of Saudi Arabia's bullion sales. Of course, the question remains, would such a move hurt the US economy? If such a deal happens, it means 25% of Saudi oil will be traded in yuan, which is a lot of money. This could mean that the importance of petrodollars will become less integral to the strength of any economy in about 20 years. A new report says that by 2040, about 70% of global passenger vehicle sales will come from electric vehicles. And fuel for internal combustion vehicles is set to peak in 2027, plateau for about 10 years, then drastically plummet. Truth is, the long game doesn't favor oil production, and that makes the potential loss of petrodollar dominance more imminent. The Russia-Ukraine conflict has become another factor. Stiff sanctions led by the United States imposed on Russia means Russian exports cannot be paid in dollars. So the Kremlin is seeking alternatives, like trading its oil with India in ruble or rupee. The Saudis, for the first time, are talking about selling oil to China in exchange for Chinese currency. This is similar to the India-Russia rupee-ruble trade. If the Saudi oil sale in yuan to China deal takes off, then other countries may ask for similar treatment. This will surely shake the ground beneath the dollar's hegemony. We don't quite have a global currency, nor is there yet a viable alternative to the US dollar. Well, the world will collectively be a more complicated place if every country tries to do business in its own currency. But given current trends, it looks like that the US dollar's status as quote-unquote king of the trading and invoicing world is being challenged. And that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.